There's been much said about how much wider the familiar, famous BMW kidney grills have been getting on new models. These are seriously wide, but then again, it's to show the aggression of the new 8 Series coupe. You can see the deep spoiler, the lip spoiler at the front, the diffuser type elements around the gills, all these elements that just show you sheer power, sheer aggression, very aggressive looking car all round. And you can see the low profile, of course, mag wheels over here, really good with the blue M calipers as well. Just to show you, this is a pretty special model in the BMW range. It is, of course, a 2-door coupe, long doors over here, which you have to have. You see how the window glass drops down slightly when you open the door. Pillarless, as they call it, frameless windows. You've got a carbon fiber roof over here. Again, just showing you that this car means business and is one of the top of the range. And I say top of the range because you come around to the rear of the coupe, of course, to a very good sized boot of well over 300 litres, and you could even drop seats if you want to. So it's really a good sized boot. You press the button, it closes the boot, and it reveals 2 badges. M850i on that side, and over there tells you X-Drive, meaning BMW's performance all-wheel drive system. You come down below, you can see the diffuser at the rear over here, the 2 very mean large exhaust pipes over there. It's not the top of the range coupe for nothing. Can I put it this way? There is an M8 coming. This is one below, but 850i means plenty, and you'll see plenty inside. Inside the M850i, it's very much familiar BMW territory. And at first I was a little bit disappointed by that fact, because it is, but then again it's also a comfort thing to be so familiar. What's different about this car as well is it has BMW's carbon core, as they call it, which they first used on the i8. That means, of course, it's light, but then strengthened with that carbon core for the cabin and for the cab to give you the extra performance. There's absolutely every luxury item in this car. You'll see the leather type trim on top of the dashboard, the central screen, of course, that gives you every facility you could ever want, all your aircon, climate control, and all your ventilation controls. Down here there's conductive charging for your cell phone, and you can, of course, close that little compartment and you see this really neat looking finish to that over there. Of course, you come to the crystal gear knob. Really looks impressive, that effect over there, that crystal gear knob. And you have, of course, all your buttons over here, and the really important ones, of course, sport, comfort, eco, adaptive, that you can set yourself. That's, of course, for the multi-mode transmission, which is BMW's 8-speed transmission, and the controller for the eye control and for your infotainment system over there. Again, sounds funny, but standard BMW. Of course, you do have back seats, a little bit cramped in the rear compartment, very dark over there right now, so it is a bit of a dark place at the best of times. This is a car to be enjoyed from the driver's seat in particular, and for the driver in particular, and maybe for the passenger. There's even a little button on the center of the steering wheel over here, and I love it obviously for European use, for the heating, on the steering wheel. Neat little touch, I thought. You do, of course, have heated seats, etc., etc. The list will go on. It is absolutely endless, and this video would never end if I tried to cover it all. What I haven't told you about, of course, and that is probably the most important, is what does M50i mean in BMW speak in modern terms? Well, it's telling you it's got a 4.4 litre V8 turbo petrol engine, 390 kilowatts, 750 newton meters of torque, put onto the tarmac through all 4 wheels with that X-Drive system. Performance in absolute abundance. You could go crazy in this car, or you could treat it as one of the ultimate cruisers. And I'll be honest with you, I've done 600 odd Ks on this test because I've enjoyed it so much. I took it through to Hardebeespoort, through the twisties, and enjoyed that because it's so capable of doing that. But it's also the kind of car that I reckon I could get into and drive from Joburg to Cape Town and not ever get tired. Because it just is one of those cars. Absolutely sublime, I think, comes to mind when I discuss this car. There are, of course, competitors from Mercedes, from Audi, from Lexus. All of those would come into it. But this one is pretty special. Priced in this format and at the list price, I'm going to call it 1.887 million rand. It's certainly not cheap, but you take into account the carbon fiber, the carbon core, that V8 turbo, and the sheer quality of the finishes of this car. Well, it's certainly not more expensive than its competitors, never forgetting BMW's 5-year 100,000 kilometer full maintenance plan as well. If you're in the market for a top-end luxury coupe, I don't think you could ignore checking this one out and testing it. It's really, really up to you. For Motor Matters, I'm Eleanor, and I'll see you next time.